It's just my internet connection is unstable. Oh goodness.
Henceforth, we will refer to those as the ice baby moments.
Nice.
That I like it. Take that note for sure. Oh, I've got.
I thought you were messing with us.
I do have the ability to do that. I was trying to think, when Gabe, I told him about 8:15. When he does pop on, I was hoping to maybe throw a puppet at him, so he just we've secretly replaced Mr. Mark with Celery Sal. Let's see if Gabriel notices. All right. You can hear me.
Okay.
Now.
I
Hey.
can hear you now.
All right.
What's going on, Samurai Jack? Love
Well,
the bandana. That's awesome.
I really wanted to I was doing some Rocky stuff today. I was like, this is gonna be the best art interview ever. Discussion. Yeah, so.
You were chopping broccoli.
Yeah. This is Celery Sal too, by the way. He
Nice.
wanted this is one of Dave's creation here from a character that I made who does a fake podcast, which you could also be on too. But he's
I remember him.
Indeed. Yeah, how you doing, brother? So good. So to the top here is Josh Moore. He remembers you from Wilmington from some of your stuff.
Yeah.
And then below and Josh is an artist and a musician as well. And then below him is Mike, and Mike does animation and art and also some production stuff and video stuff, and just really got a cool style too. I'll send you links to both their art and everything. But awesome. I was sending them a link to your site, and right before you joined on here, Josh was just saying it's like a continuing story from even when you from when you left, and I got this really cool sneak glimpse into some of the beginnings of that, and it is really cool.
Yeah,
I was like,
you were really at the zenith of what was turning into this world that I was creating, and you're obviously a big part of it. And being around the girls, Cammie was 6'5", maybe.
Yeah, and we just had Karma.
And Karma was eating onions straight out of the ground. It's just crazy.
Still does.
She still does. It was so fun to be around that innocence, and to see children walk through life with their eyes wide open, to really just be take in every last aspect of what it is that we get to experience as humans. And I really took that to heart, and I was just searching for a voice at that point in time, and you guys just being a huge part of keeping me from having to live in my car all the time. It's just, I was traveling all the time. You guys gave me a home base, and man, it's something that I've carried with me. That was a huge part of building my world.
Well, man, it was a huge part of my world back then too, because I was also finding my voice, but in many different ways. But I was so tired of being in Holden Beach, where there was just nothing. I was talking about this, how you came to Holden Beach, and I brought the art and culture and fun to Holden Beach, to my little neck of the woods, and I could feel that's all I really wanted, was to be able to be around a campfire and play some songs with a buddy, and we had the space and the time. And one thing I didn't tell them about, but I learned so much audio stuff from you, and a lot of people don't even know that you even mess with music, if they wouldn't have seen you in that Wilmington at that stage. But and I know you don't want to talk about that.
No, it doesn't matter.
But and I know you've said that you don't do a whole lot anymore, but it's just
I still write, but coming to Wilmington, I lived in Nashville, Tennessee before coming to Wilmington, and I spent years working in the studios with Sony and stuff like that. I mean, I learned a wealth of knowledge, in the way of mixing and, what, just simple broke down, getting your audio in and then being able to do onboard, mixing and stuff like that. And that's just all, it's just what I passed on to you. You're like, hey, I got these tools and we can have some fun with them.
Oh, man. That was just...
Didn't Josh play bass on some of the?
No, that was Dave. Dave played bass.
Dave. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave came down and we tracked out a few things, but that's what the new album I'm working on now, like essentially is laid out very similar to, I was telling you about this too, that it's very similar to Logic in that program. So a lot of the things intuitively are coming back to me with being able to mix. But you taught me so much in such a little bit of time. And also, this was just, I thought of this funny story, like about you were such in the carpentry. And I remember that you had the nail gun and everything, and you were doing all kinds of stuff, building canvases. But at that point in my life, I was still really scared of a nail gun. And I use one, every day, all day long. But like, I just remember like you being in the other half of the garage, like building all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I sure hope he doesn't get hurt nailing his, like I just remember seeing that, that compressor and be like, don't go near that thing, but
it's a good tool.
But
it's a really good tool.
It is.
Yeah.
But you used to make, you used to do window stuff and like a lot of family stuff. But now you use primarily canvas now? Is that?
Well, I mean, yeah, as far as, and it, just working on character development and continuing my story and stuff like that in my world. But my world's getting a little bit bigger because I've become friends with Mark Adams, who is one of the best woodworkers alive right now. And he's got Mark Adams School of Woodworking. And I've spent a lot of time with him. I'm getting into sculptural furniture. So I've got like handmade hand rasps, and I'm sculpting out furniture for people now too, which is, it's a fun, it's a fun thing. Certainly paint on canvas is definitely paying the bills, but you got to have a hobby. That's one of the things every one of us artists needs to remember. You can obsess and make your money over one thing, but you've got a lot of gifts, and you should explore the other things as well, just to maintain sanity to some degree.
For sure. I knew that you were you sent me a few pics and they're amazing. I want to see if I can share them, but I didn't realize that was something. I kind of thought that you were doing that just for you're building a whole body of chairs and stuff for your own house. Like sometimes people don't sell their work, but you're selling those things too.
Yeah, everything I make is for sale.
Put it right to price.
Right. But to a degree, some of the things that they look like they're straight out of my world, like my pencil chairs with the button seats and stuff like that. That looks like it belongs in my world anyway. And so when I started goofing around with sculpting and thinking of bent sculpture and things like that you can actually use, I kind of went to that jovial, playful side. Well, so that was so that rocking chair was built specifically to the dimensions of my wife. So it's a Maloof cattail rocking chair, hand carved with Maloof joints, and it's a Maloof tenon. It's a floating tenon joint, but you've got to hand carve everything out after you've built it. And so the seat itself The pummel and everything is all designed around, you know, the way that it fits great for my wife. And where the head rested, the crest rail, where the head goes, and everything is based on the height, her posture.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's a specifically made for the way the curvature of her spine is, and her arms, the distance to the elbow, and yeah, so it's a very specific chair. But yeah, that's made out of fire cherry or quilted cherry and quilted maple in the rockers, the cattail rockers.
Lines, Gabriel. You mentioned, you know, some time in Nashville, but you've got just an amazing artistic style, and just in short order, you also impressed me with your depth of knowledge about furniture. Are you just someone who is constantly learning, or how are you acquiring these skills, and specifically your art skills?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's interesting. That's interesting. 2009, up to 2009, I was a carpenter and I laid carpet. And then in 2009, I started painting, and I'm eager to understand and learn. I was horrible in school. So much of my life, I found myself just feeling something in the way of an inadequacy and an anger, simply because they didn't understand what I already knew. And you're being called out on your ability to read, but I have conceptual dyslexia. So school was always a great challenge for me, but learning, ooh, just put me in front of something. I'm eager to learn. And now that I have an audience, I mean, I sell artwork all over the world now, and I have an audience that also are representing other forms of intelligence that relate to me. It's not reading arithmetic and things like, while I am good at arithmetic, I would rather see and like, oh my goodness, I love to learn. I love to be good at what it is that I do. And I love research. Yeah, I'm enjoying what I have been blessed with at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you that quest for knowledge is such a key thing. And like you talk about being hungry for the world wide open, like a child. And like, I found myself in that same position lately with learning animation. Actually, that's how I met Mike, was like through animation, like
Awesome.
through common interest in animation and a mutual friend that he was doing some work with. And like, yeah, I love being open to like any medium, and like I want to do some welding stuff. I mean, like there's so many things. I mean, it's
yeah.
I always want to be always be learning. But
yeah,
you've chosen to we've talked about focus a little bit, well, a good bit on our little meeting, weekly art meetings here that we have.
Okay.
But one thing that I've admired is that you have like chosen the path. Like, I mean, you still do music for yourself, for a hobby, for writing stuff or whatever, but you've said, I'm going to focus on this art stuff. And like, you could have taken either path, and I know that you would have done just as well with either one, you know, but you said,
we had a great time playing. I mean, that was how we were paying bills for a long time with us.
Yeah, but we were spending a lot of that money back at the bar, you know. But we did have a few little gigs and stuff, but we would just make it. We never had a set list. We just played and made up stuff. And,
yeah.
But yeah, well, I mean, it's cool that I look at that and the discipline that you had with your style and going in and focusing on the characters and the lighting and all that stuff. I did have another question for you too, because I know this was happening a lot. Like back in the day, everybody was kind of like, oh, Gabriel, oh, it's so cool. Have you seen his stuff? It's amazing. And then, every once in a while, Tim Burton would get mentioned or whatever. And like, for me, it's Picasso. But like, does it ever kind of like, because you're not Tim Burton, you're completely, you've got your own style, right, but it is reminiscent of it in some ways or whatever. But like, does it ever annoy you? Realistically?
No, actually, I mean, that might have not even that long ago, but I honestly, that it's been so long, and as of late, I think the work that I get, I mean, Norman Rockwell, I'm not mad at that. You gotta compare me to Norman Rockwell to some degree. That I'm fine with that, but it really is more what I've experienced in the last like 3 or 4 years has just been people taking them to this dream world that they had as a child. And a lot of my clients that have been really excited about my work, they're in their 80s. They have this connection with it that I mean, I'm just pleased to have something, in speaking with the public, especially because this last year has been so strange and not being in the public. I don't get to sell my wares. I get to display them in places and then have phone conversations. But no, I don't really get the comparison too much anymore. Gabriel skies and Gabriel clouds have actually become a thing of their own, and
I was just talking about
it's
that.
Weird.
I see. Well,
it's a product.
Yeah, I see.
At this point.
I mean, I see clouds sometimes, and I think, hey, that looks like Gabriel skies. Like, so like, I mean, I was just talking about this. Like, it is obviously its own thing, but like, I just recently had somebody say, like, oh, is that an ode to Picasso? And I was like, man, I've been drawing faces for about 20 years now. Like, right? I mean, like, at some point it stops becoming like an ode to Picasso. Like, it's like, but like, it doesn't hurt me. But
you got to take it for what it is and appreciate that that's a compliment.
Yeah.
It is a compliment regardless. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just was curious about that because that was kind of like in the beginnings, like nobody could even have any comparison with any other art because like your characters were just they were the very beginnings of those characters, and like the catalog. I know I can share from here. I want to go through your are your chairs on your website by any chance?
They're pretty much sold as soon as they're made. I don't really, they're pretty much on demand at this point, and I make them when I want to. I'm not sure that.
Gotcha. Probably not then, right?
It might be in shop. You'll see art. Shop might be woodwork. You might see.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
Oh, that piece is actually right in front of me. That's a fun one right there.
Products. Is it maybe in products?
Yeah.
I just would love to show an example. Oh, I think it is because I remember looking at this a while back. Yeah, so, this guy here is.
There you go. Blue number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just that's the first one I ever made, and I mean it's really, really fun. Bar height. And just having fun with it. That was the first one, but I've gotten a lot bulkier and having a lot more fun with. So I use something called a cut saw extreme.
Extreme.
Cut saw extreme crankshaft. So the cut saw extreme is just like it's an angle grinder blade that could cut through your leg if you. You just got to be kind of careful with it, but like really you can carve through anything, and they last for dozens of years. There's a guy in California that's been working with a single wheel for like 10 years now. And it's like, it's a really good tool.
I like angle grinders. I am very scared of those too, though. At this
You should
point,
be, Mark.
But
you
yeah,
should keep the guard on.
I know.
I like them without the guard, but you should keep the guard on.
I know.
Be careful. Keep
so
those fingers safe.
I've got a saw that actually came from
everyone that knows he's laughing.
I've got a saw that I don't know if you remember the saw story from David French that gave me the saw that made it on top of that Jeep all the way back to when we moved to the new house in Wilmington on top of the roof. But it did. Yeah, it made it without me even knowing it on top of the roof all the way from Charlotte. Just literally just the one little angle of it, keeping it on, not tied down or anything. But so it doesn't have a guard, and like I'm able to like carve with the, like I use it as kind of like just a grinder or whatever. But anyway, yeah, it's not the safest thing, and it probably should. Yeah,
wear gloves. Yeah. Hey, you know what I was thinking of? When I was living with you and you were doing face on face on face,
yeah,
all the time, and it was such a, well, you still do it. Yes, exactly. And it reminded me of, like, I did something like that because I always had a pencil in my hand, like in 94 or 95 when I was in high school, and I did a drawing on a little piece of wood, and I ended up painting it, and I'm gonna grab it real quick. It's right here.
Oh, I love to see it.
I know you know this.
Oh yeah.
But here, let me move the light a little bit. Change things. Man, this is real pro quality here. But I didn't paint it for the longest time. And it was like face on face on face on face. These are all characters that I created when I was young, but I still have this piece, and I'm trying to figure out, what do I do with this? I think mounting it on like a something that spins.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like that.
I want to show you something that you probably forgot about that's gonna blow your mind. Hold on.
Oh boy.
It's rare. It's dirty, but this is probably one of the only ever Gabriel tiles here. This is unfortunately like the only original I have of yours, but I've had other ones.
Oh, that's a shame. I need to hook a brother up.
I would love. Well, it's so dirty. I didn't even play it. No, I mean,
dude, that's fun.
I had the giraffe, but we just couldn't. We moved and we ended up having it. Did you give it to your parents? Back to your parents?
Oh, dude, no, that thing is in the ether.
Yeah, there's so many pieces
it's in the ether. Oh my gosh. And people send me pictures of things, and I'm like, I didn't own a camera back then. I was truly like, that was before Mark. I was actually living in my car.
Man, I tell you, yeah, because he lived up near Red Cross, and actually one of the first times we played music downtown or something, I crashed there for the night, and I remember
oh, dude,
the gunshots through there one time, and it was just like, I was just like, dude, you want to move to the country? we got an extra room. But
you gotta get out.
It was a church. It was a church, though. It was such a cool place.
Yeah, it was a cool spot. But there were bullets.
It was interesting.
There were bullets.
Yeah,
there were bullets. Yeah,
but it was good. It was good times though. But yeah, that's when was that? That was 10, 12 years ago now, something like that. Yeah, no, because Cammy is going to college this year. But then Donovan got to come stay with us for a little while.
Yeah, that was 2010 because was that before or after I did the museum show at the Turchin? I think that was right after. I think that was 2010.
Oh, my mother-in-law loves you too. We won't tell that story, but my mother-in-law loves you, just so you know.
Good. It haunts me.
I just had to say that she said hi. The reason that remind me is hats. Gabe gave me my first. He used to find hats at the store, top hats, and awesome top hats and bowler hats at the store downtown in Wilmington. Came home, it was close to my birthday, and he came home and he got me this top hat with like a whole bunch of paint and stuff, like all in like turned upside down. Was like, hey, here's a top hat. And I sold a bunch of those too, but I have a bunch of them to paint, but it's just so hard.
They're from a tuxedo store.
Yep.
Discontinued actual bowler caps and whatnot. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's some future things you're working on right now? Some goals.
We finished this last winter has come up with an idea. So my wife's a writer. Her name is Jamie, and we did our first book is called Splat. It's like a 2-feature book, Splat and Kitty Calamity. And it was Shelby County Reed's book for the year. So we sold a lot of copies, but we were self-published and, kind of just got after it. And it was a pretty slapstick style of animation. The illustration was black and white, pretty simple, handmade papers, and, basically working with a gouache. So this next book that we started getting after, that was, I made some decisions. We started developing, we've got like 8 or 9 different characters. They all have different personalities. They all have different attitudes towards life and a different, facial features and ethnicities and, tendencies, so when we started going through, so my wife's a really prolific writer. She does a lot of, tongue-in-cheek sing-song poetry. And she makes up a lot of her own words. So it's really fun for me. So we start reading through these poems like, oh, who would be doing that? And who would be doing that? So we started developing what page numbers were going to be what. But I wanted to do a painting and have the entire book be one painting. So I bought 70 16 by 20s and 2 24 by 30s. And the 24 by 30s go on the end. I've got over 93. I've got 97 linear feet of one continuous sky that jump from one 16 by 20 to the next.
Oh.
That the entire painting is one continuous sky.
Cool.
So it's been pretty fun. So it's a 97-foot painting made out of 16 by 20s.
I love it.
Nice.
Which was it's really fun. And we're still looking for it's called Paper Airplanes. And we're still looking to get it published yet, but we're just trying to get all that figured out, because we don't want to self-publish this time because it's a big enough book, and it took me 1.5 years of in between, commissions and shows, painting and dedicating all this time to it. It should do something more than self-publishing, I would think.
Yeah.
So,
it's a tough world. We that's one thing I can't seem to. I've got like lots of different, ends with the kids' music and this and that, but I just like for some reason, the whole anything other than self-publishing kind of scares me a little bit. Even, I don't know what it is, but just got to find those right people, and I'm sure you will.
Yeah, we've had prospects from a lot of people, but like really getting it down in, and my IP lawyer is, he's good about all that. Anything that we pass through him, he's going to tell us straight up what, and that's something that you really should be concerned with, if you're making intellectual property, right? Have it.
You need a lawyer, Mr. Work. Did you hear me? He said he needed a lawyer. I told you.
So IP, your intellectual property. It makes, this is what you do. So and
really,
denying.
I should take your advice.
Yeah, absolutely. And so yeah.
Send me your guys. Have your people contact my people.
My people work for artwork.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know.
No.
How'd you know I was still broke?
Hey, no, but like finding somebody that's willing to look stuff over and put their stamp on it and give you a suggestion. I mean, that shouldn't cost anything other than hey, I'll do some paintings for you or something. That's pretty much how I still roll.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I need to. I do have somebody that's worked with me on some of the song stuff and everything too, but it's something. There's some kind of connection that's messed up with that. I just gotta take care of that. But I wanted to tell you I love your hat, and then also
thank you.
We came up
Indiana artist.
Yeah, I love it.
Racism is lame. Very true.
Well, me and Josh somehow last week we didn't broadcast the whole thing, but somehow we came up that part of our slogan is "It's better than racism." At least it's not racism. Racism sucks.
I think there was a little more build up to it.
Yeah, I know.
It makes a nice T-shirt, though.
Yeah,
it does. At least I'm not racist.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I
threw that one out of the bed. I like to throw one in there and then just leave the room and just like. But
hey, I'd like to ask Gabriel a question real quick. I just looking at your images, and I know you mentioned that you had done other books. Is there a book that has those? Well, I guess you don't know exactly which images Mark sent to us, but like the one behind you, is there a narrative that carries through that has?
Oh, like this one?
Like, yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things that I've found, especially like right now, I mean, you could get in front of a UV lamp or take as much vitamin D as you want, but it is the winter and vitamin D is just not. So like being completely inspired, waking up, fresh cup of coffee, a beautiful warm day. No, it was gross. It's just been raining and sleet and snow everywhere. Not the happiest place, but I can go to this place. I thought of this one this morning when I was thinking about wind. Like you can't see it, but it's definitely there. So, and then I thought of Patch and Pen. That's who these characters are. So developing characters, I've got like maybe 12 different ongoing stories of characters that work together. And when I really can't think of anything to work on, or I don't feel that inspiration, I'll take just an emotion or a thought for a day, and I will grab one of those characters and say, all right, you're in charge. What's happening? And then I can continue that story. Patch and Pen, Patch and Pen have been in, I think, maybe 14 paintings. So yeah, this is a character group that they find themselves together constantly, and I keep a character of Patch around, so I get all of his patches the same. And Pen has the same, she's got her freckles. She likes to wear these ridiculous dresses, but she likes to climb trees and play in the mud. So awesome. It's kind of fun that way. And fun thing is Patch, patch is a variable. It can change size. It can be real small. It can be tiny, and they can shrink and go through the eye of a needle, or they could be giant and be climbing over mountains. You know, it's her imagination. That's her imagination personified in an imaginary character. So, you know, having these types of characters, it allows me to continue to be prolific, even when I feel as though I might be going through a drought. I can grab one word or one thought and grab a character grouping and continue to work, even though I'm really not feeling it, you know, some days. But, cool. You know, I mean, these are good tools. You know, these aren't vices by any means, but yeah, they're really good tools for professional artists that will be prolific, that will continue to work. You have to make these almost like safety nets. Like, these are just tools that I'm developing over time, and they'll get stronger and stronger. And eventually there's going to be like a whole series just on patch and pen.
Cool. You know? Have you ever considered like animating them, putting them into like a moving video?
So that's an interesting question. Are you talking about me particularly?
Well, I mean, animating? That's the way I think,
because
that's stuff that I do.
This thing I'm working on right now, this is a boom box, and it's a talk machine. Right. I don't computer. That's your job.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's honestly one of the things I've been trying to promote recently, is because I absolutely love taking someone else's artwork, mostly because it puts like half the job out of my mind of developing characters and narratives and all that stuff. And focusing on, you know, the visual information already provided, but I could take that painting behind you and make it blow in the wind. Like, that's just the kind of stuff. And I love to. So
Mark,
you know,
it's Mike, right?
Yeah. If you're open to that kind of collaboration, I would
absolutely.
You know,
I'll show you. I just did a demo reel I just did the music for a demo reel for him that he put together, and you can see his style, and it's really good. And I like some of the different, you know, takes he has on the animation and stuff too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you should definitely talk about something. So I see animation in your stuff as well too, and it's, you know, there's a lot of
already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would just shoot you a bunch of images of what I've already done of these too, and you know, they've done series where one of them is called Play Posture, and that's her imagination. They're on an island, and her imagination gets into play posture like a dog. Huh. And she's like barely touching, like, am I supposed to play? She's wearing a brand new dress. And the next one is called Hopscotch on Lily Pads. So then they decide to jump across these giant lily pads, and she just mud is all over the place and stuff like that. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm having fun with narratives, but I've got screenshots. Cool. You know, you could bring to life, but
it'd be fun to do some kind of collaborative or something for sure down the road. I miss, that's one thing that I really miss, and that's actually the reason Josh came to me and said, you know, he's an old artist friend of mine, musician as well, and he said, you know, hey, let's do a weekly art thing. It's kind of turned into
that old. He's probably my age.
Yeah. What?
He's an old artist friend. Probably my age.
We're all old. Yeah. You're old. You're old.
I'm older than you. I'm old, bro.
I'm so
old. He's a great grandpa, isn't he? Aren't you a great grandpa?
No, I'm not. Are you talking to Josh? Are you a great grandpa, Josh?
Not that I know
of. Good answer.
Classic.
My mid-40s, I am very happy. I'm very happy to be in my mid-40s.
How mid 40s are your 40s there?
Well, I'll be 45.
Okay, all right.
Right in the middle.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah,
happy about it.
Laurel is like 1 year older than you, so I remember.
Oh yeah.
I remember that you were older than me, but I did want to briefly just say just one story. Gabe used to go to Charlotte with me. We were lucky. We're so lucky that we had a spot to sell art in Charlotte. And out living in Holden Beach, I was going into town and not really making money in town very much. But I discovered that if I went to Charlotte, I could make some money. Like on the street.
Yeah, street.
But pretty much we were street vendors.
Yep.
And I told Gabe, I said, hey, you want to get in on this, man? And he at the time he was my companion going down there driving on the a lot of times he would drive. He liked to drive at night.
Oh yeah.
And then we had a streak of Gabe said, no more Charlotte, North Carolina. He got the biggest
relate to that.
It culminated with this. We were doing the show in the middle of downtown Charlotte, and we had a tent, and then the wind came out of nowhere, and it took like a giant painting. I think it was your painting, right? Or was it my
2 foot by 6 foot painting?
Yeah.
Wood.
Smashed him in the face.
Oh,
Probably still.
My teeth are still chipped.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Smashed him. We were
right
lucky.
in the face.
But that was.
It didn't stop there. That was the beginning. It was a horrible trip.
Oh my gosh. And then it all culminated with hitting a deer right in the neighborhood on the way back.
Oh, dude!
The very end of it, with
right before we got home.
It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Coming home.
Allergic. I get stung by a bee. I take Benadryl. I pass out, and I got a painting bought / stolen from me.
Oh yeah, one of those.
Dude, it was Charlotte. No more Charlotte.
Yeah. I haven't really been back since either.
Run over a deer right before we got back to Holden Beach. Oh my God, it's dead. At least it died.
Oh man, yeah. And I think we were limping home as it was. Like there was like a radiator problem or something.
Yeah. The old Jeep. Yeah.
Oh.
My Wranglers and tip top.
Yeah, he fixed my car several times. He's fixed his car and my car several times during that thing. But that was I learned a little bit just watching you on some of those things, because I love observing that. And we didn't plan this, by the way. They're both wearing red either, so I just wanted you to know.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's funny if you guys were color coordinated and then we were color coordinated.
Right.
We'll have to work on that, Josh.
I'll text you right before him.
All right.
What are you wearing tonight? This.
Is it possible we could all get the broccoli headbands?
Right, there you go. I don't know why you took it off, man. I thought that was pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah, I know. Check this out. Hey, everybody. Yeah, no. Oh boy. Oh yeah. That's called poor man's animation.
Creepy.
Yeah. Hey, well, I really do appreciate your time, and I don't know. We could talk about some other stuff too. I'm up for any other questions or anything. I'm just kind of doing a time check. We usually go till about 9, and we got 5 more minutes. If there's any,
So, Mark, have you ever thought of like a simplified linear, like your face-on-face design? If you would think of like doing it on top of like just black and white to create a fabric design.
I've been thinking more of that.
Because I think that would be fun. It'd be busy, but you might have to simplify or, enlarge in your ideal, to create a fabric design on just the line face on face. Because I think that would be kind of cool.
I have been messing around with that.
Shears with face on face.
I love it.
Man,
I love it. I actually I've
But
been messing around with Printful through my website, and
so like textile design.
yep, and it can make that simple is definitely better. Like when you can.
Yeah.
One thing that I just discovered is on one of my phone tools, Adobe has a capture program, and it actually breaks down a lot of your art into those linear things. So I'm trying to maybe take advantage of some of that for for animation projects and for just for textile stuff. But
yeah, textiles, it's an interesting thing because like you've got you have a tendency to have such a busy style that it would actually work for textiles for a lot of different reasons. I mean, are you kidding me? Hand towels or anything, t-shirts, just a Mark shirt. I would wear a freaking Mark shirt with just red with black lines and eyeballs all over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you really get excited about all the color and everything, but sometimes textiles is just simplified a bit. And I think that like I would own all of the Mark shirts.
Oh well, I'm gonna start making some more for sure.
Dude, that's crazy.
I wanted to show you. I've been working on the fabric stuff. I'm trying to find this one particular has man, it's in the abstract. It's one of these face guys, and you can print all over. So it's let me see. I think I have it in the actual one second. I wanted to show you because it really truly is the fabric all over thing that you're talking about, but not in the simpler one. But I think both could work. But it's this particular shirt, but it's there's an all over print. I did one with laurels all over, but here's so like here's, it's not a face one. I think I just got to upload it, but here's like one with the fish that are all over.
That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about, Mark, is creating a textile and having the clothing made out of what it is that your colors are and the facial lines and things like that. I think that what you have, I mean, I think it just needs to be worn.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it needs to be worn. It should be walking around, and I think that's that to me a really viable way to continue to keep pushing out and creating new designs and things like that.
For sure, I'm definitely going to get on it more with that too, because the other thing that we've talked about in the past too is that you only have so much time, and if you can animate or automate any things, like if that's something that I can design and then other people make for me, and I may make a smaller profit margin, but at least it's just sold. They're doing the shipping, they're doing everything. But I mean, your clouds and stuff would make amazing shirts as well too. I mean,
so I've looked into that, like with Society 6 and things like that. But ultimately, as far as money making possibilities, like, that's why I bought my printers. I've got a 6 foot wide plotter, Epson SureColor plotter, and a 2 foot. Yeah, and I got a 2 foot wide plotter. So it's like anything that I want to print, we do it in house, and I can do it for other people as well. But like ultimately, it just pays off to, try to do as much of that yourself. But like if you're gonna do batiks or whatever, that's where if you did a batik, had it scanned, had t-shirts made of that original batik, it just goes up in price. The more you sell it, the more desirable that single piece is. We've got pieces that we've held back that have been, globally famous, that we own the originals of, that have never been for sale. I mean, that's just when you need a new vehicle, sell a piece of artwork. I mean, that's ultimately where you want to be, right?
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I am about to do a ridiculous sale this next weekend with auctioning stuff at the lower prices, but I am afterwards going to raise my prices. And, you know, like, so this is going to be one, I say this all the time, but it's the last time you can get one of these things. But, you know, I also really like having real simple stuff that I can sell. And like, I make money off of the prints in the long run. So like, I just, you know, like
well, and you've done quite a few buildings downtown, right?
About 50 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you've painted quite a few buildings.
Yeah, it's not nearly as fun for me though as the faces. So
Aren't they though?
No,
dude.
They are. They're fun, but I was talking about this with these guys last week. Was just the ability to do digital for me now takes away some of the hardships of having to like plot out a building, you know, like, but because I like drawing the things crawling up the buildings and coming out of the buildings, you know, like I want to put tentacles coming out of windows of the downtown building, and you know that's where my fun comes in.
So like Mike, what programs do you like to work with?
Mostly Photoshop is like that's like the center for me, but I more and more I like drawing on a tablet and then sending it into Photoshop. Just there's very little I can't do just with that, you know.
So you're animating. So is it something that you would you redraw, or do you take file and then how does animating it come into play?
Well, it really depends. Like if it's my own work, I've kind of started to favor more just doing like just a simple kind of line animation where it's like one drawing, and then it's just like, it's very much like what you see if you watch like an old Disney documentary, except it's just digitized, where you have another layer and you can draw that same drawing again, but slightly move it. And then like, it's really fun for me to play with that. But you know, if I were to work with like a already realized image, you can just go in and alter nothing except just select it, and there's just magic. There's the way I think of it, because I didn't, you know, it's like you can take that image or that section of an image and move it, you know, and then the same idea, just, you know,
designate a skeletal, three-dimensional skeletal, and then turn the head and do all kinds of crazy weird.
I'm trying. I'm just learning 3D now.
That's
but
what's fascinating.
It's the same idea, but it's just flat. You know, where you can take what's called like, there's a puppet warp within Photoshop, and it's also in like many other Adobe programs. Where I mean, you can just literally take that. You can do it with a photo. I just don't play with photos much because I like to draw. But you know, you take any drawing, you can put it in there, and then you can just like slightly move it, and then over frame by frame, it just, you know, comes to life. And
comes alive.
That's like it's such a thrill to me. It's just you know.
That's so cool, right?
Yeah.
Imagine
really.
the guys that like, I keep thinking of the movie that they talk about, The Train. You remember the original motion picture, The Train coming through the building, and like, everyone just laughed like, oh damn, this is happening. Like, and how far we've come with what we can do with a screen. And you know, and I think of that with notation and like everything, it all just kind of plays into itself. But like for me, I enjoyed like for music, I enjoyed Logic. Josh, do you use Logic? Are you Pro Tools guy, or
I hopped off that
what
go. So I was using Cool Edit Pro about 20 years ago.
Nice. It's a good name.
Cool Edit Pro. Super Club, awesome.
It was a precursor to a lot of the more modern software.
Well, real quick, I'll just, if you got a second, I'll show you Mike's, just a quick little thing of his animation, just some of it so you can see it here. And then I don't think y'all could hear the audio there, right?
Oh, fun.
Yeah. This was like a story I started to develop, those two characters at the beginning of 2020. I thought I was going to make a love story about those two falling in love, but things changed.
Can y'all hear the audio?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's good though.
That's one of my paintings there. Like,
Nice.
Like shorter ones are like you were saying. It's just, you know, when I need to do something, I'll just start drawing something, and then whatever it becomes, make it move, and that could be a whole day. And it's like just keeps my hands on the tools, you know.
Right.
That's one of my favorites right there.
Yeah.
That makes me think of the old Disney too, like the.
That's a Jim Woodring illustrations.
That came kind of from this podcast. Just
the hairy eyeball.
Hairy eyeball.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I just want to give you a little taste of it. It's kind of
got not, hope it doesn't offend, something like Modest Mouse Sugar Boat. Kind of feel to it. It's like, oh damn, what's happening? It seems a bit treacherous. That's awesome.
Treacherous.
Well, good times. Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming. I'm gonna scoot because I gotta get ready for a class tomorrow, and I'm old. It's ash whippersnappers. But
we got the trash comes to pick up pretty early tomorrow morning. I have to get up before 9. Well, I work late, but I get up late.
could we have you again as a guest?
Anytime.
I'd love to chat again. We're trying to, you know, once every 6-8 weeks, try to rotate somebody else from the beginning in, because hopefully we'll get. We've had a lot of practice doing this, but we're, you know, like we're
anytime. I mean, we could cook something next time. I
forgot to even talk about that.
I love to cook. I mean, I just did some New York strips tonight, and you know, I absolutely love to cook. That's another wonderful art form that you know, if you're doing it yourself, you can get it there. Restaurant quality is just a few spices away and some intensity, you know, and just understanding your chemistry of it and stuff. Yeah, I love to cook. We can cook something sometime.
Yeah, let's cook it up.
Put together a grocery list so we can all cook together.
Well, thanks. I'm probably gonna, you know, edit a little bit of this and, like, you know, throw it back out on YouTube or something. But just live. Just the part where I got
some things to say.
I do see live on Facebook up on the top now. I don't know if it's up there for a while. But.
Yeah, we'll figure it. No, I mean, you know, what I meant is I'm gonna edit in some, you know, some splashes of color and maybe throw up your chairs where we're talking about it. Like, you know, like it can be like, oh, here it is. But, you know, I'll put on a silly hat on Josh, and, you know, silly little hat. We got a hack party
next time, Josh.
Yeah. All right, brothers. Well, I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And
anytime.
Nice to meet you, Gabriel.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you, Mike and Josh and Mark. It's always a pleasure. And coming to you from Central Indiana here on Sweetwater Lake in Nineveh, Indiana. Peace.
Beautiful. All right. That was a nice outro. All right. Much love. Later.
Take care, guys.
Yeah. Have a great night.